Warriors of Sparta. Today we stand on the brink of a battle that will define the future of our land, our children, and our honor. This is not the first time that we have faced seemingly insurmountable challenges. Throughout our lives, both in war and in peace, we have been shaped by difficult decisions, by choices that shape the character of a man and the destiny of a nation. Today I want to talk about something fundamental for every Spartan, the importance of having excellent references to base your life, your choices, and your decisions on. Because it is from these references that we determine who we are and who we will be. From the beginning of our training as warriors, we learn to observe those who came before us. We are not born with wisdom. It is acquired through experience, but also through observing those who are worthy of being followed. And this is where the importance of having good references comes in. A wise man is one who seeks to learn from the greatest examples, who mirrors himself on the great, and who forges his conduct based on those who have already walked the path to glory and success. In Sparta, we have always been blessed with leaders, philosophers, and warriors who taught us the value of sacrifice, courage, and loyalty. Men like Lycurgus, who with his wisdom founded our laws and established the principles that we follow to this day. They are our references, our unshakable rock, and we as men of honor must follow their example. Think for a moment, what makes a man make decisions that lead him to greatness? It is not riches, it is not ephemeral power, it is his references. He who is inspired by just, wise, and courageous leaders follows the path of righteousness. On the other hand, he who allows himself to be influenced by men without character, without honor, ends up falling into the trap of mediocrity, making decisions that lead him to ruin. In life, we are all constantly faced with decisions, from the smallest, such as the path we take when we wake up, to the most crucial, such as those that determine the fate of our city, our family, and our comrades in arms. And what guides these decisions? What determines whether we choose the right path or stray? The answer is simple: our references. Every choice we make is shaped by what we consider worthy of being followed. That is why it is vital that a Spartan always keeps in mind the great figures who built what we have today. When we make decisions based on examples of wisdom, courage, and virtue, we are building a solid future. But if we base ourselves on weak references, acting only on impulse or selfish interests, we will be digging our own grave. Our references are like guides, beacons that show us the way even in the darkest nights. When we look at Lycurgus, Agesilas, and Heraclitus himself, we realize that it was their firm decisions based on high principles that immortalized them. And it is by following in their footsteps that we, today, can guarantee a glorious future for Sparta. Warriors, nothing is more dangerous for a man than to base himself on mistaken references. We have seen many cities fall because their leaders, their men, chose to follow false idols. Men who allowed themselves to be seduced by the glitter of power without considering the values that sustain a nation. When a warrior looks the wrong way, he loses his way. He strays from virtue, and his downfall is inevitable. Sparta will never fall into that trap, because we know who our heroes are, we know who we should follow. We know that the strength of our city comes from our references that are unquestionable, based on eternal virtues. Respect, discipline, courage, and honor. These are the pillars that should guide our lives and decisions. If we look at those who act only for personal glory, who seek power at any cost, we will fall to the same fate as many before us: failure. But if we keep our references firm, no matter how big the enemy we face, we will be unshakable. Now, when we think about the battle that awaits us, we must understand that what we will do soon on the battlefield is a direct reflection of the choices we have made throughout our lives. If we choose the right references, if we base ourselves on the examples of the great ones who came before us, we will be prepared for any challenge. Because a man who is based on strong virtues, on firm principles, is unbeatable. In every action we will take in the heat of battle, the teachings of our ancestors will be present. Our shields will be raised as they were by our fathers. Our swords will be brandished with the same determination that our grandfathers had, and our hearts will be filled with the same courage that moved the great warriors of Sparta who immortalized this city. The battle will be intense, but remember this: Those who base their lives on references of honor, courage, and wisdom do not fall easily. They become part of something greater. Every decision we make, every choice we make, reflects who we truly are. And you, warriors of Sparta, are heirs to a lineage of giants. Your references are the great men who never wavered in the face of danger. I want to bring to mind one of the greatest names the city has ever seen, Lycurgus. He was not just a warrior, but a lawgiver, a visionary who understood that the true strength of a nation lies not only in its weapons, but in the principles that guide its men. When Lycurgus established our laws, he was not creating passing rules, but immortal principles that guide us to this day. He understood that a city is sustained not by brute force, but by the virtue and discipline of its citizens. Lycurgus is one of our greatest references, and he taught us that decisions based on honor and virtue are those that stand the test of time. He was the one who showed us that a city where men follow solid principles will never be defeated. And in the same way, a man who bases his choices on great examples will never be defeated. Lycurgus knew that the choices we make do not only affect our lives, but echo through generations. He knew that by establishing our laws, he was creating a solid foundation on which Sparta would stand for centuries. This is exactly what we must do in our lives. Choose our references carefully, base our decisions on the wisdom of the great, and build a legacy that will endure. Warriors, every choice we make has consequences. When we base our lives on weak references, the consequences are disastrous. But when we follow examples of virtue and strength, the consequences are victory, glory, and eternal respect. Remember that the decisions we make today will define not only this battle, but the future of Sparta. Every blow we strike, every shield we raise, every command we obey, must be inspired by the greats who came before us. For that is how we ensure that our city continues to thrive. Each of you carries the weight of Sparta's history on your shoulders, and your decisions today will determine whether we will continue to be remembered as the invincible city. My brothers, as we enter this battle, may each of you remember the greats who have guided us thus far. May every stroke of the sword, every parry with the shield, every step we take on the battlefield be done in honor of the giants who came before us. Lycurgus, Agesilas, Heraclitus, and so many others showed us the way. Now it is our turn to follow in their footsteps and leave our own legacy. Know that the choices we make, the role models we follow, shape not only the present, but also the future. Just as our ancestors chose firm and unshakable principles to build Sparta, so do we today. Each of us has the power to be a beacon for generations to come. Glory comes not only from victory in battle, but from the decisions we make throughout our lives, the role models we follow, and the examples we set. You are the heirs to a line of great men. Be worthy of this heritage. Base your lives on values that stand the test of time: courage, honor, loyalty, discipline. Be the trustworthy men that the gods respect and that Sparta needs. When we go into battle today, remember that each choice is a declaration of the kind of man you are and the kind of legacy you want to leave. For Sparta, for our ancestors, and for the future we will build, let us fight with the hearts of the giants who have guided us thus far, and with our actions, let us ensure that our name will be remembered forever. Victory will be ours, because our choices are firm, our role models are immortal, and our honor is unshakable. For Sparta,